Hey, movie lovers, Trek Cinema has a special announcement. This week, starting March 25th, Trek Cinema will be open Monday through Wednesday at 7 p.m., showing classic movies. This week, Cars, Superbad, Radio, and Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory are back on the big screen. And all shows for these are only $4. Doors open at 6 p.m. We can't wait to see you all there. Trek Cinema. For the best high school football games in the Triad every Friday.
Can't touch this.
Live sports talk on everything from ACC to Bowman Gray.
Can't touch this.
The most extensive Carolina Panthers coverage in the Triad.
Can't touch this.
Plus your exclusive home for Charlotte Hornets from the Triad.
Break it down.
Add in your Triad home for North Carolina A&T Athletics, and you've got Tobacco Road Sports Radio, your home for Triad sports.
One-on-one down the sideline. One. Caught the ball. 10-5. He's in. Touchdown, Aggies.
You are locked into Tobacco Road Sports Radio, your home for Triad sports.
And you know this, man.
This should be played at high volume.
Welcome to Outta Pocket. Here's your host, Michael Davis.
Book, an official sports betting partner of NASCAR, is now live in North Carolina. Now you can legally bet on all your favorite sports anytime, anywhere, right here in North Carolina with DraftKings. For a limited time, new customers who sign up with promo code Tobacco Road and bet $5 will receive $250 instantly in bonus bets. DraftKings has the best features, including same-game parlays, player props, and more with fast and easy payouts right at your fingertips. You can go onto the DraftKings website and find you can bet on your winner. You can bet on top 3. You can bet on the top 5. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now using code Tobacco Road and bet $5 to get $250 instantly in bonus bets only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code Tobacco Road. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. Deposit and eligibility restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook/NC. NASCAR is not sponsored of this promotion. Used under license. Welcome, everybody, to Outta Pocket with Michael Davis on Tobacco Road Sports Radio. We are live back at 12:30. Not adjusted to the March Madness games. Those will pick back up on Thursday. But we have a lot to talk about from the weekend, so I had to bring in Carsen Williams, a fellow Duke fan. I had to bring in Shannon Smith, who looks like he's wearing Carolina blue on his screen. And then we had to bring in producer Desmond Johnson, who probably didn't expect the ACC to do as well as it did this weekend. All 4 ACC teams who made it, North Carolina, Duke, NC State, and Clemson, have all advanced to the Sweet 16 after this weekend. And so I wanted to kick off today's show with that. What are your guys' thoughts? Are you surprised that any of these teams made it past the first weekend? Carsen, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Clemson made it past. I haven't watched much of them this year, but I had said earlier on the show that Duke was going to make it past. I knew UNC was going to make it past the weekend, and I also said that NC State was going to make it past the weekend just based on the momentum that they had coming into the tournament, which proved to be right. I'm surprised by Clemson. I'm not exactly sure who they played, but
they beat Baylor last night. Yeah,
that right there is a shock, and I wasn't super high on Baylor. But yeah, I'm happy, for the ACC teams, being a Duke fan, So yeah, good. We really showed a lot of people wrong. This was a weak ACC year, so this is pretty good.
Yeah, Shan, what's your
opening round? They beat New Mexico about 21.
I know Trevor, who's kind of the college basketball expert on this show, or at least who I've been with, had New Mexico going, I think, to the Final Four. So,
yeah, that's impressive. You guys missed Trevor and Josh. Trevor, the host of the 2 Pointers podcast, Josh, the host of Everything College Basketball. They were on the show on Friday. It was quite an awesome time. Shannon, when you look at these ACC teams, are you surprised that one of them made it out of the first weekend?
Not so much, because I think Dez has to understand that he owes NC State an apology after, giving them a hard time. NC State played very, very good in the post. They were very wonderful in there. Now, we really need to owe Clemson an apology, because I didn't see Clemson getting the 6th seed. I didn't think they deserved one. They ended up getting one. And now they're showing that they can play very, very well. Jimmy V's got his hand on this tournament right here, because NC State is going in. They're doing great. And I got to give it to Duke as well, too, because James Madison let the bright lights blind him. But you got to give it to UNC as well, too. 6 games that Tom Izzo haven't been able to beat us. Good job, Tar Heels. Good job, ACC.
Now, Des was very outspoken the last couple weeks after Outta Pocket's return. Very outspoken last week that Duke and NC State wouldn't make it out of the first weekend. And so that's one of my favorite takes that didn't age well, because it says that Duke is advanced to the Sweet 16. They'll play Houston that first round. We'll talk about that later, because Houston, Texas A&M had a great overtime game. But Des, that take didn't age well, and that's okay. A lot of my takes don't age well, so join the club.
I mean, people got to understand that in this business, when your job is to give hot takes on things, it's going to go one way or the other. And no one is 100% perfect when it comes to these picks. And I based my picks based off of how I watched these two teams play over the past 3 months. I didn't know that NC State has found some sort of switch. I have to admit, and I actually posted an apology to NC State fans on my Facebook Sunday, because I've watched these NC State games and I've been enjoying them, actually. Like I mentioned when they won the ACC tournament, I'm happy for my Wolfpack friends. Like, I have friends that have lived 40, 45, 50 years and have never really seen the Wolfpack do anything national or championship wise, except for the ACC championship they won in 1987. So, I mean, for them, this is a brand new experience for them. And they're actually being pretty good about it. Like, they're not like trying to rub people's noses in it. They realize what it is. They're just kind of along for the ride. So it makes it easier to root for them. Now, on the other hand, with the Duke fans, I have a bone to pick with y'all, because while I'm not the only person on this show or across the country that said the things I said about the Duke Blue Devils, the entire country called the Duke Blue Devils soft, said they didn't like physical contact, said if they didn't hit their threes, they were going to lose the game. And that's literally what happened over the course of the weekend. They hit their threes, especially yesterday. Jarrett McCain was outstanding yesterday. They got the benefit of playing 2 double-digit seeds to get to the Sweet 16, which I'm the type of person where I don't look at that as being something bad. That's just the luck of the draw. Like, if that's what you got, that's what you got. Carolina got a bunch of double-digit seeds in 2022 on the way to the Final Four. That's the way it is in the tournament. So shout out to Duke for being able to take advantage of that. And the knockout a James Madison team that was really, really good and on like a 32-game win streak. I can't fault them for that. So they played. But I do have to say this. I think the Duke fan base that I've pissed off, they have confused what the words soft and sucks mean. They literally have looked at this for me saying Duke is soft. They're looking at it as me saying Duke sucks. Duke does not suck. Duke is Duke. Duke has won 25-plus games. They have a bunch of talent on their team. They're the Duke Blue Devils. I'm not going to sit here and say that Duke sucks. What I said was they're soft. They don't like physical contact. If they don't hit their threes, it's a tough night for them. They hit like 12 threes yesterday, and got out early. And James Madison had like 15 field goals total for the game or something nuts like that. By no indication, Jarrett McCain hitting 8 threes. Does that mean that Jarrett McCain's not soft? It just means Jarrett McCain can shoot threes. Jarrett McCain's a good player. But you can be a good player and also a soft player at the same time. I just got to get that out there, because these Duke fans are coming back at me like, oh, they're still soft, huh? They're still soft. Yeah, they are. They are still soft, but they can win basketball games. They've been doing it all year. So I just want to put that out there.
And another thing also, too, I wish Trevor was on this show, because about a while back when we were talking about the SEC ACC tournament and how they're trying to make the SEC a viable basketball conference, look at that bracket and see how many SEC teams are still there and how many ACC are there.
Are they all gone? No.
No, Bama's in there.
Bama's
Bama.
we got Bama Friday,
Yeah.
actually, or Thursday. Yeah. Is that it?
Bama, that's it.
Wow.
Mhm.
Damn.
I think so.
That's
Well,
cool.
Tennessee's still in there.
Tennessee's still in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tennessee.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
But that's
Derek
cool. I
Pollard.
mean, they had what, like 8?
Yeah. And they all
Yeah.
got killed. They all got beat. Goodbye.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
Derek Polly was on the show a couple weeks ago. He's saying, "Afternoon, gents. You guys can interact with us. Comment on the YouTube." And I do want to bring up Lorenzo's comment. Is Houston beatable? I did
Yes.
not see any of I didn't see all of the 1 and 2 seeds making it to the Sweet 16.
They look
I
tough.
was kind of shocked by that. Usually you'll see a 2 seed fall. UConn is probably the first reigning champion to get to the
they
second weekend
are. And at
in the
least like
last
10 times or
4
something
years.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild. So looking at these 1 seeds and these 2 seeds, we have North Carolina, Purdue, Houston, UConn, Arizona, Tennessee, Marquette, Iowa State. Of these 8 teams, I want to know, who do you guys see falling first? And do you see all of them making it to the Elite 8? Carsen, I'll start with you on this one.
Well, no, I definitely don't see all of them making it to the Elite 8. Honestly, the 2 teams on my radar, UNC playing Alabama. I think that is a very possible loss for UNC, and Houston and Duke. And I said earlier on the show that if Houston meets up with Duke, if Duke can even make it here, then that could be a tough matchup. Houston had showed a lot of vulnerability last night. They were up, I think, by 12 with like a minute 15 seconds to go in the second half. I'm used to NBA. But yeah, I mean, and then you give that up, and then you win with. They also showed a lot of. They showed the ability to hang in there. They showed resilience, because they had lost. I think 4 of their players had fouled out. But still, you have Texas A&M. I think they shot like 64% on their free throws. They missed like 15 to 20. You cannot beat a team by just 5 points when you're the 1 seed. You're this juggernaut that everybody's talked about. I had Houston winning the whole thing. Now I would be shocked if anybody other than UConn cuts down the nets. But yeah, I can definitely see Houston falling to Duke. And I can definitely see UNC falling to Alabama. Those are the 2 teams that I'm looking at.
Yeah, I actually had Houston going over Duke in my original bracket, my main bracket. Des, I want to hit you with this question next about how far do you expect these 1 and 2 seeds to go? Could they fill out the Elite 8?
I don't know, because I'm looking at NC State Marquette on Friday night in Dallas, and I'm looking at Tennessee Creighton Friday night too. That those could be 2 seeds that could go down. Of course, not on board with the NC State train. Watch them plummet off a cliff on Friday night and lose by 30 to Marquette. But if the NC State team that's been playing the past 2 weeks shows up, I think they can play with whoever. So that's probably the one I'm looking at. Marquette's probably in danger. And Tennessee, they may be in danger because Creighton's a good team. But other than that, kind of expect Houston to move on. Purdue looks like they're playing like they've got something to prove, which I don't think a lot of people really thought about going into it. Kind of like Virginia in 2019 after they had lost in the round of 64 the year before as a 1 seed. Purdue's in the same boat. They've lost 4 games all year. They've been floating around number 1 pretty much all year. Them and UConn, I don't expect them to stumble. Same with UConn, even though they've got a tough San Diego State team from the Final Four last year they're going to be playing. Everybody else, Arizona should take care of Clemson. Carolina, I feel like they're going to take care of Alabama. And Iowa State, I feel like they should take care of Illinois. So I'll go with Marquette and Tennessee being the 2 twos that might be in the most danger.
Shannon, what's your thoughts?
I was thinking of the Creighton game as well, too. I expect Creighton to beat Tennessee, not just beat them, but beat them sensationally because their offenses played incredibly well during this tournament. And I'm kind of like Dez on this one. I'm afraid if I give NC State too much credit, they're gonna go out there and just dog it to Marquette.
Every
So
time.
I mean, really, and this NC State squad, Jimmy V got his hand on this tournament here. If they win this one, it would be so crazy to see NC State play Houston 41 years after
Ooh,
the national championship when they beat Phi Slamma Jamma. That would be an incredible
damn.
story.
I wasn't even thinking about that. I was thinking about if Duke and State meet each other in the Elite
I
Eight.
really want to see that, but I want to
Yeah.
see it. And even though it's not the same team, it's been a long time, but I want to see that. That would be an incredible story for NCAA basketball. That would be great.
Yeah.
I mean, Houston will kill them, but I mean, that's what I think. Houston will kill them, I believe. But I think I got to go with Tennessee being the squad that's going to lose, and I'm going to go with I'm just going to go Tennessee Creighton. I think that's the one I'm the most decisive about. UConn's got a gauntlet, but I think if they survive everybody, UConn's going to do it this year. I really do.
Mm-hmm. Well, and Kansas too or not Kansas. Purdue is beating up with Gonzaga, who just blew out Kansas and blew out. I don't remember who the 12th seed that they played, but blew them out too. Gonzaga is going to be a tough out. They're not.
Yeah. They're under the radar again. Yeah.
Yeah, they got a good coach. I do expect Purdue to take that game, but Gonzaga's not going to go down easy. Especially not after that Kansas game.
They got what they deserve. Kansas got what they deserve. They shouldn't have beat Sanford. They got what they deserve.
They're banged up. They're so banged up. And did you see the comments from Bill Self after the game where he basically admitted he basically been thinking about next year for like the past 2 months? It's like, dude, you can't say that out loud. Yeah. He came out in the press conference was like, I've been thinking about next year for, I don't know, about 2 months or so. Like, what?
That's crazy. You're a 4 seed.
Bro, what are you doing? Like,
come on.
Yeah, that should never be your focus as a head coach in this tournament.
And if it is, you take it to your grave.
Yeah,
you don't tell people that.
Don't tell nobody. He told the press group.
He's done.
Now, when I start thinking about March Madness and start thinking about this 1 and this 2 seed potentially falling before the Elite Eight, I couldn't help but think about the NBA and what a certain team did last year in the NBA. So I wanted to bring back a segment that we introduced a couple weeks ago called In or Out of Pocket, where I share a take. Even though my takes aren't out of pocket, you guys on the panel get the chance to say if your opinions are wrong or not. Okay, so my thing is, of the current play-in teams, we have the Golden State Warriors, we have the Los Angeles Lakers, we have the Mavericks, we have the Kings, we have the Hawks, Bulls, Philadelphia 76ers. Of all those teams, they don't have the best chance to make a deep playoff run. Guess who does? The Miami Heat. The Miami Heat are looking just like last year, where they're hovering around. They're currently a 7th seed as of this show. They're currently hovering around that place. They're either going to match up with Milwaukee or Boston, 2 teams that they beat last year in the playoffs, and they haven't been healthy all year. And now that's allowed guys like Nikola Jovic, Haywood Highsmith, Terry Rozier to adapt to this team, to where that when they do get healthy and they get Tyler Hero back and Jimmy Butler's in playoff Jimmy mode, and you have Bam Adebayo, who's almost averaging 20 points per game, it's the perfect recipe, coached by the perfect head coach in Eric Spoelstra. And we could very well see the Miami Heat make a deep playoff run, at least to the Eastern Conference Finals, if not to the NBA Finals. So that's my piece. That's my saying. I've been holding that all weekend. Carsen, please tell me you agree with me.
I would like to tell you I agree with you. My brother is a Heat fan, so he would be happy if I agreed with you, but I'm not going to. And you just gotta look at who the Heat are gonna be playing. They're not gonna beat the Celtics. The Celtics are so overwhelmingly talented. You've got Porzingis, who can play inside out, and as great as a defender as Bam is, I don't think that he can play like that. At least he can't hold down the interior while he's also got to be guarding Porzingis on the 3-point line, And then you've got Jason Tatum, you got Jaylen Brown, you got Derek White, you got Peyton Pritchard. They just have a full team, so stacked top to bottom. If they're gonna make it out of the East, I have no doubt about it. And then if they get the 7th seed, they're gonna have to play the Bucks, who have Giannis, and that's a much more winnable matchup for the Heat. Bam has consistently played well against Giannis. Eric Spoelstra always walls that up. But now you have Dame on the outside, so you really can't build that wall as reliably. Giannis is a really good playmaker, so as soon as he gets stopped by that wall, he's just going to kick it out to Dame, you know? Of all the teams, I would have to say it's either the Lakers or the Mavericks, whoever ends up getting that 7th seed in the Western Conference, as long as they don't have to play Denver, you know? I think that OKC is a very winnable matchup for either of them, especially the Lakers, just because of their physical dominance, you know, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and then they just have that star matchup that is really hard to beat. I like the Heat. I love Jimmy Butler in the playoffs. I like Bam. I love what he brings. But I just don't think that they can beat the talent deficit that they're at compared to these other guys.
I can't wait to pull that back up in a couple months and tell you you were wrong. Shannon, back me up on this one.
Well, let's make it 0 for 2 because I don't think that they're going to do Boston again is going to win that Eastern Conference. The team that I actually look at that might be able to make a deeper run than Miami would be the Sacramento Kings. If the Sacramento Kings get that 2 seed, I think that they'll be able to do it if they get that 2 seed. The 1 seed, we already know that Denver's going to kill them. I mean, but I got to get Carsen on this right here. Now, Carson's high on Joker. I know he loves Joker to death, but I'm here to tell you right now, there would be no Jokic if it wasn't for Arvydas Sabonis, which, by the way, he is playing incredible basketball right now. 2013 and 8. He got snubbed for the All-Star game. He's a complete package for that Sacramento Kings squad. I love seeing him play. I'm a huge fan of him. So if Carsen has Joker, then I got Domantas Sabonis all day long. And these Euro big men are passers like nobody's business. They've been doing it for years. Vlade Divac, Arvydas Sabonis, Vitaly Potapenko. All those guys have been very wonderful passers. And Arvydas' son has 8.3 assists. So I think that Sacramento would have a better chance to do it than Miami would in the Eastern Conference.
Des?
My question, you mentioned the Heat getting past Milwaukee and Boston last year. Both of those teams are infinitely better. Wasn't Chris Middleton out with injury last year?
Yep.
So he wasn't even playing, and now they have Dame Lillard as well. The Celtics added Porzingis to their roster. They didn't have him last year. They're just better. I'm more worried about the Heat getting out of the play-in because if they run into a newly returned Joel Embiid in the play-in round, I'm not necessarily sure the Heat get past them. So the 76ers were a top 4 team in the Eastern Conference before he got hurt. In terms of who should get or who might get the furthest, I'm still going to ride with the Lakers just because it's LeBron and AD, and they're the only team I see on this list where I don't know if seeding's going to matter. Like with them, all they have to do is win some away games, and they're kind of, and AD has to stay healthy, and they got to be able to shoot their threes. Other than that, I think the Lakers can turn a switch, and I'm not saying they're going to win the NBA championship or anything like that, but would it surprise anybody on the panel if the Lakers made it to the finals? Nope. It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Well, if they got the 8th seed.
Nope.
Yeah, if they get the 8th seed and they start running through, because last year they were the play-in, weren't they?
Yeah, but they didn't have to play the Nuggets until the conference finals.
The Western Conference Finals.
Whoever matches up with the Nuggets in the 1st seed, sorry, go home.
Yeah, they need at least the 7.
Don't even turn the TV on.
Hoping the Kings get the 2 seed. That's why I'm hoping they do it. But the way it's looking, I don't think so.
That's the path the Lakers had last year, wasn't it? Didn't they play Sacramento early and ended up beating them?
Yeah.
I think they beat Memphis.
No, Sacramento. They beat Memphis. Sacramento played Golden State.
Yeah, right.
And they were close to winning that series there. They were close to winning. They went 7 games, I believe, with the Warriors. I think.
Yeah, they did.
I thought they should have won, but
yes,
I thought they were a better team. Now, here's my problem with the Kings. Sabonis is an awesome regular season player. He's super fun to watch. It doesn't translate to the playoffs. It just doesn't. He can't put a stress on the defense like he needs to. He doesn't have that. He's not like super physically imposing, you know? He's a tall guy. He gets a lot of rebounds, but he's not super physically imposing. He doesn't have super great touch. A lot of his assists are like just handoffs. He's kind of a handoff king, which, you know, that's valuable. to know when to hand off, to know when to not. That's valuable. But he just doesn't put the stress on a defense that I think he needs to. They don't have to respect him from the outside like they do a Jokic or even, well, I'll say AD, but
But to rebut that, the defense in the backcourt has been really, really good for the Sacramento Kings. Their backcourt defense has played well. De'Aaron Fox is in the top when it comes down to steals. He's got 2 steals. Their backcourt is playing very good defense. And so that's what's really helping them out. And that's what got them as far as they did. Now, I get it. Joker's 1 in a million all day long, but Sabonis is on the come up right now. So he's at the spot where a Joker is right now. Sabonis is.
I just don't know if I trust him in the playoffs. I'd have to see it.
And they're a young squad too, on top of that. They're a very young squad. They're fun to watch, which is big. And
very fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And Carsen, you've been very outspoken about how much you like Nikola Jovic, or Jokic. Thinking about my Miami Heat player who's going to be part of that deep playoff run. Here in the last couple of minutes, I wanted to transition to that aged well. Asking you guys a question either tonight, this week, or sometime in the future. And it's a tight race when we're talking about top seeds in the West. The Nuggets, Thunder, and T-Wolves are within like a game and a half of each other. Real quick, Carsen, who do you think is the top seed in the West?
I think it'll be Denver. I looked at their schedules earlier. I only saw really like 4 games that they could even I could even see them losing at all. I think they play Milwaukee once or either the Celtics once. They play the Timberwolves once. So I really only see them losing 4 games, and they're already in number 1. And then with the Timberwolves and the Thunder, I both see them. They could lose 5 games. And then when it comes down to like they could lose, but they could win, I'm going to give it to Denver. I'm going to give it to Jokic. There's no answer, that you get him in the post. That's one of the most unstoppable moves in NBA history, is just him in the post. He kicks it out, and if you double him and if you don't double him, he's going to put it over you. He's got incredible touch. I think he's like 60 something % from floater range. So yeah, I mean, he's going to get you a 60% shot every single time he's on offense. Nobody else in NBA history you can say that for. Nobody. He's the most unstoppable offensive player ever. I think ever.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like ever.
What? Tell me one other player who you give him the ball and he's going to get you a 60% shot every single time down the floor.
Shaq?
No. He's not like Jokic. He didn't have the touch like Jokic. He didn't have the playmaking of Jokic.
He didn't need it. He could just dump truck you down into the lane like DJ Burns, but just twice the size and just dump it over you. Like
there were people that could.
I mean,
but there were people who could stop him, or not stop him. No. But there were people who could like at least hang with him. Hakeem, David Robinson, like these people could hang with him.
The literally 2000 Shaq is like no one could guard him. Like if he wanted 45 that night, he went out and got 45. It was really Shaq that stopped Shaq. But I've given credit to Jokic. Like I mean, but Shaq's the only person I could think of other than Zion Williamson, which might be a comparable with the 60% from the floor. And even that, Jokic can hit from everywhere. Like Jokic is a top 20 all-time player, maybe top 10 when the season's over with if he wins another title. But to say he's the greatest offensive player of all time, I lived through Jordan. I'm sorry. I can't. I just that just don't
Jordan didn't have the playmaking of. That's the thing. It's not just one or the other. Jordan did not have the playmaking of Jokic. That is an indisputable fact.
What does that mean? What do you mean he didn't have the playmaking of him? Like, what is he not able to do that Jokic can do?
Yes. Where's that what button?
I'm looking for it.
Okay, he wasn't as good of a passer. Is that? How can you laugh at that? That's indisputable.
Like 3 or 4 assists a game.
How many?
Yeah, and he was the main scorer. Like his job wasn't to assist; they were passing the ball to him. So I mean,
yeah, but he's still not as great of a passer as Jokic. He's not.
I would say in Jokic's defense, you got to be hard pressed to find a center that does what he does. I get where Carson is coming from, but as far as the most like unstoppable offensive player of all time, I would have to digress. At his position, yes, but over time and overall, I don't think so.
I can't even say that because Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has the most unblockable shot in the history of basketball. Like, and I don't know why centers don't do it to this day. I don't know why people don't still do sky hooks, but that move is more indefensible than anything that Jokic can do. Like, I just
happy.
The man scored 39,000 points.
What I'm so happy about that is that I'm not saying about big men.
Kareem, the sky hook is the most unstoppable single shot ever. But the play type of the Jokic post up cannot be stopped by anything other than his teammates. You know, he makes the right move every time, something that nobody else has ever done.
There's nothing. Say he's the best offensive player of all time. Like, that's way early, like just way early. That's like crowning LeBron.
Okay, how about this?
He won the first Miami championship. Like,
he's got the highest offensive peak of all time.
I can't even go there. Like,
no.
What's the most he's ever averaged in a season per game?
I haven't, but that's the thing. We're talking about offense. We're not talking about scoring. You guys brought up Michael Jordan, Kareem.
Wait,
that's scoring. We're not talking about scoring. We're talking about offense.
What is that? Wait, what's the difference in your mind? I feel like you're saying the same thing. What's the difference between offense and scoring? Yeah.
Assists, playmaking. There's more to offense than just.
So you're saying so you're not saying he's the best scorer of all time. You're saying that he's the best to facilitate an offense.
If I had one person to facilitate my offense of all time, anybody ever, if I had one person to facilitate my offense,
run it through.
I'm taking Jokic.
Well, you get
that. No, that's different because the way you were saying it before, you were making it sound like he was the most unstoppable offensive player, meaning like his bag, no one can guard him. Like,
no,
that's
I'm not talking about scoring. He's not even close to. I mean, he is a great scorer, but he's not even close to the greatest scorer ever. When we do that, I'm taking.
I'll put him close to Magic.
I'm taking Kareem. I'm taking Jordan. I'm taking LeBron. There's like a list of players. I'm taking Curry. There's a list of players that I'm taking over him in terms of scoring. But as a complete offensive player, I don't think there's anybody who is better than him. I think Jordan and I think LeBron are the only two that are in his league.
I was going to say, if you're talking about running an offense through a player, then I'm starting off with Irvin Magic Johnson before I go to anywhere. Like, that's number one. Like, to me,
but he wasn't as good of a scorer. He
didn't have to be based on. But what you're saying, you're not saying that the whole thing's based on scoring. You're saying it's based off of who can facilitate the offense best. And to me,
now you're just thinking. Now you're only thinking about facilitating. I'm saying complete.
Yeah, Magic scored too. I mean, Magic, he wasn't scoring 30 a game, but he didn't have to. He had like 4 other guys he could get the ball to, but the ball ran through him just like it runs through Jokic. Now, Jokic can throw up 42, and he's a triple-double machine, but I just think it's too early. Like, you just that's a wild take.
Jokic and Magic are in the same tier of passing. Actually, no, I would put Magic one tier above Jokic. In terms of passing, just one. Just one. But I'm putting. Well, now we're talking about flashy passes and everything. If we're talking flashy passes,
just the right one.
Magic. well, then I'm gonna put Jokic one tier below Magic, and if we're talking scoring, I'm putting Jokic 2 tiers above Magic.
Where is he all time on your list compared to Magic? Jokic? That's the question. Jokic? Yeah, is he above Magic all time?
Well, no, he doesn't have the longevity. I would put Magic's in my top 5. Jokic is probably hovering around 17, 18.
That's fair. I mean, because he got one MVP? 2
MVPs and
a championship.
And probably a top 5 playoff run that we've ever seen.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, you just like silence the panel. Like we all want to argue, but we're
That's
like,
what I do. That's what I do.
I'll be honest. I was almost sitting here like dumbfounded, based on what did he just say?
That's okay. Let's wait till the end. Let's wait till the end of the playoffs, and then we can have another conversation about it.
I'm just saying, there's a reason why 10,000 people found your reel about Jokic last year, and they disagreed with you.
There's also a reason why 10,000 people changed their minds.
Yeah. We ended up being right by the time we got to June. That was the crazy thing. It was just like, huh? But this one's way more out of pocket than the one from last year. So, let's just see if he can get back to the championship first before we crown him.
Well, the show is Out of Pocket, and I'm gonna save Shannon and Dez's question for next episode.
Sorry,
that was
guys.
better than anything he would have said. So
that was insane. But Carsen was out of pocket. I was not. Just FYI, the Heat have the best chance of a play-in team. We will be back tomorrow, 12:30 p.m. for your lunch break. For Michael Davis, it's been Carsen Williams, Shannon Smith, producer Desmond Johnson. This has been Out Pocket with Michael Davis on Tobacco Road Sports Radio, and we will see you tomorrow, 12:30.